my name is Allie, and in today's video, I am going to be walking you through step-by-step how to open up a Dayhome. This video is sort of a two-parter. If you haven't seen my previous video, it may be wise to watch that one first. If you're kind of in a place of like, do I want to open a Dayhome? Is it for me? I go through literally everything that you need to consider prior to opening a Dayhome. I talk about all the pros, all the cons, so that you can make a more informed decision. In today's video though, I'm walking you through how to actually open a Dayhome. I have had a Dayhome for about 3 years and I absolutely love it. I have 2 children of my own. I have a 1-year-old and I have a 3-year-old. And when I first decided to open a Dayhome, I knew my mom and sister who had Dayhomes, so I was able to learn from them. And now I am in a place where I can share that to somebody else who is also interested in running a Dayhome. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. So the very first thing you're gonna need if you're opening up a Dayhome is actual space to do it in. If you take like a small amount of children, 1, 2, 3, then you need a smaller space. And if you take like 4, 5, 6 children, you're going to need a much larger space. You want everybody to feel comfortable in your home. That includes both you and the children. So legally, where I operate a Dayhome, I'm in Alberta, Canada. So this does vary across countries and across states and provinces. But for me, where my location is, legally you're allowed to have 6 children, not including your own. So I have 6 children and my space at home is quite large. When I moved into this house, I chose it for the purpose of running a Dayhome. So I made sure that there was adequate space. So you need to assess your area where you are located. If you have a large home, if you have a small home, if you have an apartment, if you have a townhouse, that kind of stuff. You have to assess the actual space to determine how many kids you should take. Space includes so many different things, so you're going to need the space for a playroom, preferably not just like a corner in your living room, like an actual room where it's a full-on playroom. I feel like when Dayhomes have like a little section for toys, the kids don't have like much room to play, so having a proper playroom is really important. You are also going to need a children's nap room. For us, we use my son's room because he co-sleeps and he's in our master bedroom, so his nursery is where all of the kids nap. In your dining room, you're gonna have to have enough room for a separate kids table and all of the chairs. So because I have 6 kids, I have quite a large kids table and I have 6 chairs to go with it. You also need a yard that is safe and fenced. You want to make sure that your deck is safe. On my deck, it's like quite a large deck, so I actually have like a baby gate so that kids can't go up and down the stairs. If you don't have a yard, you're still capable of having a Dayhome. Instead of going to your backyard, you would just take walks around the community and like go to the park and stuff, but a yard is preferred. Now, another thing to do with space is that I highly recommend you use your main floor and your upper level for your Dayhome. And the reason why I say that is because the main floor and upper level usually has more natural light. There's big windows, there's sunshine shining in, and the ceilings are higher, whereas in the basement it sometimes can tend to be a little more gloomy, a little more claustrophobic, less natural light, lower ceilings, and it just kind of feels a little more dungeony. So I would recommend to you to use your upper level. However, I think many people will use their downstairs space, and if that is the space you have available, I'm sure you can make it look really good as well. The next thing that you need to open up a Dayhome is supplies and to set up your space. Supplies literally include anything and everything from the kids' table to the chairs to toys to crafts and art supplies and outdoor play equipment, educational toys, dishes, Tupperware, food, all of that kind of fun stuff. There's so much of it. Now, before you go absolutely crazy and buy everything at once, you need to first consider what age group of children you want to care for. Because if you're going to care for infants, they're going to need different things than toddlers and preschool children are going to need. So for infants, you're going to need things like cribs and high chairs and baby proofing and baby gates and bibs and potties and all that kind of stuff. And then for toddlers and preschool children, you're gonna need more like kids tables and potties and educational toys and nap mats and stuff like that. So they just have different needs, so they're going to have different supplies. So when you set up your space, you want to do it in a very organized and a very aesthetic way. That is going to be a crucial step in finding actual families who would like to come to your day home. And when you are setting up your space, you have to make sure it's very safe. So when parents come to view your space, you have all of the boxes marked off. So you want to make sure that you have your baby gates and your baby locks and like locks on your cupboards, and that your medicine is up high and out of the way, and that your cleaners are in a proper spot, that the children can't get exposed to your chemicals. So all of that kind of stuff comes into play when you are talking about setting up your space. The final thing to consider when you are setting up your space is that you need to make sure you do a very deep clean. Your space needs to be very clean because you are wanting to show parents that you know how to tend to a home and that their children are coming into a clean environment. When you have many children in your home and there's lots of little grubby hands touching everything, you're going to have to clean a lot and make sure that you're not spreading germs around and, you know, having a day home where everybody's gonna get sick. So you have to make sure you give it a deep clean, like baseboards and bathrooms and carpets and couches and just everything. A dirty house would literally be a red flag to families, and if they came into your home and it wasn't very clean, then they probably wouldn't want their child to attend your day home. Step number 3 to opening up a day home is to take photos of it. When you take your photos, you really want to showcase what your day home has to offer. So maybe you take a photo of the really amazing and organized playroom, or maybe you take a photo of your backyard with all of the play equipment. Those are just a couple ideas. So you want to take photos of the best things about your day home, maybe even if you have some experience in working with children, or if you have ever done crafts with your own kids, you could include those photos to show that you have that creative ability too. Tip number 4 for opening up a day home. So prior to searching for families, it may be a good idea to build up some of your credentials. Credentials can include a number of different things like a criminal record check, CPR training, first aid training, a list of references so parents can trust you, any past experiences you have working with children, or your educational background. All of those different things are going to show why you would be a good child care provider. Step number 5 in opening up a day home is to actually search for your families. Now there's 2 different routes you can go when you open up a day home. You can either go private, which is what I am, or you can go licensed. A licensed day home, you are governed kind of by an agency, and they will actually help you find families. However, it's not always easy to get into an agency. I heard they're kind of on wait lists, and sometimes it can be quite difficult to get into one. That's at least coming from where I live. There are many pros and many cons to joining an agency and becoming a licensed day home, but that's going to be for another video. But personally, I prefer running a private day home. So that is what I am, which means that I do have to search for all of my families by myself. So the first thing I want you to do when you are trying to find families and you are private like me is I want you to go on Facebook, go into groups, and I want you to join all of the different daycare and day home and childcare pages on Facebook. On these pages are both childcare providers and families who are looking for childcare. So I want you to do this by going onto Facebook, clicking groups, and in the search bar, typing in childcare or day home or something of that sort. And then I want you to follow as many as you can find that are in your area and nearby area. Once the admin accepts you into the group, you can then make a posting sharing that you are a childcare provider in the area and you are open and looking for families to join the Dayhome. In this posting, you want to include your photos that you took earlier, and you also want to include a description of yourself, including like your name and your experience and kind of like your beliefs and values when it comes to running a Dayhome. And you can share all of your credentials in there, and then you make a posting and you make sure to include how you wish to be contacted. So you can either leave your phone number, or you can also allow them to contact you through Messenger on Facebook. And then you just wait and you hope that a few families or quite a few families reach out to you. Step number 6 in opening up a Dayhome is to book and schedule meet and greets. People may contact you through text or phone or Facebook Messenger, however you wish to be contacted. And it's really important to respond to them in a very professional and smart manner. So if somebody texts you inquiring about your Dayhome and you're like, hey, what's up? Yeah, it's Allie. Sure, come on by. It's not very professional, and it's kind of like slang talk. So how you should respond to someone's inquiry is you greet them by name. So, hello so-and-so, my name is Allie Fitzgerald. Thank you so much for reaching out to yada yada Dayhome. I'm excited to hear from you. I read over your message and here are the answers to your question, or something of that sort. That's just an example, but I just highly recommend that you are always professional, yet yourself, when you're responding to messages. When I got a text message, I developed like a standard email. So I had it saved in my notes. So it'd be, hi so-and-so, blah, 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 kind of like what I already said to you. I'd have that written out, and then I would copy it and paste it into the person who messaged me, because you get so many inquiries that it would be hard to like text that out to everyone. So you copy and paste it into the text, and then you just change the person's name and you adjust it a little bit to make sure that's personal to the message that they asked you. Now for me personally, something I do when people reach out, and you don't have to do this, but I would recommend it, is I have developed 2 different PDF documents that I send to them. So if somebody inquires, I will send them 2 PDFs. One is called A Day in a Life, and it's pretty much I share everything that we do on a typical day at Dayhome. So we do circle time and educational time and outdoor time and baking and crafts and sensory. So I go into all the details of why I do it and why I think it's beneficial for the Dayhome. And then in the second PDF, it's called A Little Bit About Me, and I share like about myself. So I talk about how I'm a wife and I have kids, and that I have a nursing background, and that I have a desire to stay home with my children. And yeah, so I share a little bit to make it a little more like personal. Tip number 7 in opening up a Dayhome is to accept families. So one thing I learned throughout running a Dayhome is to be selective on who you take for families. Just like if you were a parent, making sure you're selective on the Dayhome, be selective on your parents, because when I first opened up a Dayhome, I kind of took anyone and everyone, and I took a variety of different age groups. I love babies, I love toddlers, but when I had 2 different age groups, I was meeting the needs of 2 different age group children. 1-year-olds and infants are gonna need completely different love and education and crafts and like a different schedule than toddlers and preschool children. So I would recommend you like looking at your schedule and being like, okay, what children will do well together and thrive together, and how can the Dayhome work peacefully as a whole? You know, so that is one thing I learned. When I reopened my Dayhome after maternity leave, I decided to take only children that were like 2.5 and up. Like I have a lot of like 3-year-olds and a lot of 4-year-olds, because I just felt like my daughter is 3 years old and it would make the most sense to have that age group. Other things that you need to consider when you are accepting families into your home is children with severe allergies, learning disabilities, and behavioral issues. These children are all obviously very equally worthy of quality childcare, but they may need extra attention and love and care to have them be able to thrive. For example, if you do take a child with an allergy or a learning disability, then you may just want to simply take less children so that you're able to give that child the attention and care that they so need. Please don't think it is rude to acknowledge that some children may need extra care than other children. It's a reality, and you have to be able to see that reality as a childcare provider. Step number 8 to opening up a day home is to write the contract. The contract is necessary for so many different reasons, but the number one reason why the contract is important, in my opinion, is in case there is an emergency. If, heaven forbid, there was an accident or a severe injury while the child was in your care, you are going to need all of their emergency information. So you're going to need the parent's name, their healthcare card number, their emergency contact, their doctor, any allergies, all of that important knowledge, their birthday, it needs to be in the contract. Another reason why you have a contract is because it's an agreement between the parent and the provider so that both parties know the expectation and the rules and the standards. So some key points to your contract, I'm just going to list them off, I have them written. So key points that you need to include on your contract are like we said, the emergency information, the child's info, the parent's info, your sickness policy, your holiday and vacation policy, photo consent, how payment works, their fees, and a contract should also have a part talking about a deposit, so that a deposit is taken to hold the child's spot until childcare begins. So many different things. I think you could probably look up online Dayhome example contract, and then you can kind of get a template and idea of what kind of things to include. Make sure you have everything signed off by the parents. And then step number 9, I think we're at. I think it's the last step. Step number 9 is to know their start dates and start preparing. I liked to prepare prior to opening a day home, so I did some meal prep. I looked on Pinterest and Instagram of inspiration for different craft ideas, and I went to the store and bought some supplies and all that kind of stuff. So just get ready and get excited, and then you start. And please subscribe to my channel if you want to see any more content related to day homes. I'm going to be doing a YouTube video about a day in the life of a child care provider. I am not going to be including any of the children in my videos. It is not my responsibility or right to put other people's children online. However, I wanted to just kind of give, from a provider's perspective, kind of what it's like to run a day home and kind of how I like to run my schedule, because when I have a day home, I do have a set schedule, and I think you should have a schedule as a daycare provider. So I'm going to show you kind of my schedule and how I like to run my day home so that it's fun and efficient and that it works well for everyone as a whole. I also really like to do reels and short form content when it comes to different ideas for crafts and activities and food. So if you want to get some inspiration, then follow me on my Instagram, subscribe to me on YouTube, like this video if this was helpful and helped you to open up your day home at home. And I congratulate you. I'm excited for you. It's really a lot of fun and I love it. It's important to love your job, and right now I'd say I love my job. So it's very exciting. We will see you in my next video. Be blessed. Bye.